hands, and you wanted SKT to have some more carries. They got 4.
The biggest thing for me that sticks out from the draft is not only just the Fiora, but Bang on the Ezreal. I think he's going to have a much easier time, and all the people that are saying, hey, Bang's not playing his best game, I think once you get onto this Ezreal, as long as his mental is not boomed from game number 1, I think he should be a big factor for SKT in game number 2.
Look at the side of Afrika Freaks, a lot of engage, and then basically going to be all about the poke and pick from Kuro. So they can be a pick comp because they have insane pick CC. They have teamfight initiation as well. Only poke does come through from Kuro. So 4-1 if they can get a lead on the Camille, which is difficult against the Fiora. Good to see Untara doing what's needed. For the longest time, looked like he was going to draft the Gnar in a losing matchup, but he feels that they need to be able to fight in the top side. I tend to agree with him. So we'll see if the top lane matchup can be as hype as it is on paper. We've seen it once this season already. Let's see it again.
Jax and Fiora gonna have to go hand in hand, do a little handshake, help each other out. See what they can do up in the top lane this time. Going into game number 2, Afrika versus SKT. The Lovers duo down on the bottom side here for Afrika. Making a bit of a statement, coming back with this one, a very uncommon duo that you see nowadays. The Ignite on Tushin, they want to get aggressive. It's another moment for Tushin to shine as well from the support role. Got double MVP over at OGN the other day, and had that solo interview as well, something you don't see too often with the supports.
You know what else we don't see too often on what may prove to be the last patch 8.1 game we get in Korea? No Relic Shields on the bot lane for Afrika Freaks. Doran Blade, and then Rakan famously does go into either the coin, which at the moment is considered underpowered, so Spell Thieves for a bit more movement speed when the quest comes in, and the poke in lane. So no Relic Shields there for the first time in what feels like forever. Might see some aggressive trading as early as level 1. Notice that W is skilled, so definitely, if there's any disrespect or walk-up from Bang and Wolf, they both press W, they both get Deadly Plumage, and you can do a lot of damage on your first trades. So Afrika looking for aggression in the 2v2.
Feels like the very first time, and I hope that we get some action down on the bottom lane because of it. Here we go, the Ignite already put onto Wolf. Looking for that poke damage.
Actually lose the trade though, even with W level 1, and no Relic Shield sustain means that a lot of this is going to stick on Tucson. Probably going to have to go through more than one potion unless he gets significant time in lane. It seems like they misjudged their level 1 trade and took some minion damage alongside the opening salvos, and the exhaust and Ignite both down. So a very eventful level 1.
Yeah. Also, you're attacking an Ornn who, you know, double Relic Shield, as you already mentioned, but he's going to be building his own items eventually, so the early trade won't affect him as much as the Rakan. Blank coming in here, going for an early Rift Scuttler.
Yeah, I had a look at his solo queue. Can understand that Camille was not likely to be selected today, so I wondered if he was showing something new, and a lot of the press that's the attack, Trinity Force, Cinderhulk, Jax coming through from Blank, so that's going to be his pick here. Definitely stuff a lot of the champions inside of Afrika, and can be very creative with his pathing. Haven't seen Jax emulate Malrung go for the cheesy level 2 ganks where you ward jump and then flash with your counter-strike up to just have an insane angle of approach on the mid lane. Been much more about the farming, but late game, Haru especially has shown us the way for how strong Jax can get.
I've been playing a little bit of it in solo queue. It seems very stable in a way. You have to be very careful when you leap strike in that you're not, you know, you have to be very sure, right? Because if you leap strike in, you don't have much of an escape, especially if your counter-strike is down. And as you mentioned with the build that you choose, the Cinderhulk into the Trinity Force, you don't have too many tanky stats outside of that Cinderhulk. So.
And the ultimate, of course, giving you the resist when it's activated, but level 6 not going to be relevant early. Speaking of relevant early, nice trade taken by Kuro. It's not good damage onto Faker. Did not want to use Cleanse early. Untara going against type. He's been Gnar only for the majority of this season, but a second loss on his Gnar breaks out the Fiora in this classic skill matchup top side that does favor the Fiora, so we'll see if Blank will also float around that lane and try to continue to extend his bang is low.
Yeah, they find another engage down here on the bottom side, but he's got a multitude of potions plus relic shield stacks are about to get off cooldown here, so I'm sure he can stick around in lane.
Mana's pretty low though.
Yeah, that is true.
And that was a much better trade. I would assume off screen the E actually hit onto Bang, who was susceptible to that earlier at Worlds, made a couple of positioning errors against the Feathers and got stunned up a couple too many times.
Gathering Storm taking on the 280 carries this time around. Kramer and Bang playing for the late game here. Want to just scale up as much as possible. Blank now getting aggressive. Kuro roaming here may have spotted him on that ward at the river, but this is not a dive up into the top side. It was just going through the jungle, laying down some wards.
And a bit of safety for the top laner there. For Keen, who right now very competitive in CS. No jungle attention is always a surprise in matchups like this, but so far attention has been elsewhere.
Zoom in on Kramer.
Boots 2 rush, so
yeah.
Expected to be Bang opting into the free boots. And Boots 2 rush against free boots use has been pretty common to both dodge damage and to look for chase down kills that aren't possible when there is comparable move speed between both carries.
Girl level 6 here before Faker. Faker did just get it right now with the wave underneath. See if they try to make any plays here towards the mid side. They do have the Sejuani nearing 6. But you can notice that Faker does have his cleanse and flash available. I wonder where the first order of action will be here for Spirit if he's going for a lane gank. You would think the top side, as you were talking about, that very tense matchup between the two carries would be an ace option against the Fiora.
Because Blank's such a flexible pick on the Jax, you'll notice that Spirit hasn't gone for fleet footwork, which has been more and more common for clear speed and also aggressive options. This week he's gone for Aftershock. He's the only tank, or true tank I should say, on the side of Afrika, so very much looking for the tanky stats. This is a 4-man invade on Blank.
Oh, it misses, but he gets the knock-up. It's enough damage. First blood goes over to Kramer, the 4-man invade, and the timing lines up perfectly with the blue buff that spawns. They caught Blank in the jungle. They knew exactly where he would be. Nicely done for first blood.
Yeah, really creative as well. So as Azir was backing, no calls clearly. You never see a 4-man invade for first repeat spawn of blue buff, but they pull it off. Great timing on the W there from Tucson. Well caught up, and Blank, even with his flash up, dies.
He had the flash. He may have had an option to ward jump even. Here comes Sejuani, level 6. I was talking about where he might go. It looks like it will be in the bottom lane waiting for that flash. But in fact, Bang gets it and then just Arcane shifts away. And everybody's safe.
Yeah, the ultimate goes wide there by Spirit as well. So not able to get a kill, but getting 3 summoners is a pretty decent trade. Looked like it was going to be bloody. Looked like it was going to be multiple kills, but lane control is also something that's very, very relevant.
Yeah, the Kramer did blow his own flash at the same time. So both AD carries, no flash at the moment. Was able to keep his heal available. SKT looking to strike back. 3 members invading into the blue. And Tara even coming down just in case.
Not a bad thing to go as a team. Something that SKT struggled with in previous series, but synergy much better the previous game. Kleptomancy on Tara. It's a pretty common choice on the Fiora. Getting those extra items. Bit of extra sustain in lane. We'll get a bit more clarity on the rune choices here. Pretty standard stuff, all things considered.
That's the zombie ward here. Help out with some extra vision up on the top side after your ward goes down. If you're pushing, becomes a zombie ward. You'll have some extra coverage against the jungler. Unfortunately, as I say that, the zombie ward dies because Keen does take it out. So far, Keen having a nice lane here against the Fiora. Talked a little bit about this matchup, but earlier on, of course, the Camille will have a nice little poke advantage.
It's one I always like tracking because on first release, it seemed to be very Fiora favored, and then a lot of people feel like there's some great options with the ability to take Comet in lane for you to fight back on the Camille and go more competitive. So it's one of those matchups that has shifted as the new runes come in, which, like a lot of matchups, of course, basically every farm lane for Gangplank is now super winning, so you take him in more risky lanes, such as Kleptomancy's influence on the top side. SKT starting off the Ocean Drake.
Well, they may go for Kuro here. He hops in, but that's way too aggressive as he gets knocked up against the wall. Kuro going alone, overestimating Zoe's ability, does get taken out.
Yeah, tried to fully rely on the portal jump, but it's not enough to get him away from a line skill shot initiation. Still SKT, because they've taken a lot of damage. Blank has to the aggro, and Spirit can walk up.
Decides to go back in. They get double knocked up here. Wolf forced into the stopwatch. Afrika not looking for more, though. SKT trying to come in. Emperor's Divide to push everybody back into the fight. They want to go for this, but Faker taking the damage on the backside. They're going to trade 1 for 1. Spirit now getting low. The Dragon will go down to the Xayah.
Of all
in
people.
fact, yeah. No smite available. Spirit smited early to get that extra health.
Insanity around the Drake there was a really big build to re-engage 4v5 because they had the Wombo combo with the Grand Entrance being available and the quickness as well. They don't get the maximum out of it to Afrika Freaks, but they do take down Faker and allow Zoe to re-push in mid lane on respawn. Insanity there, but Kramer is the big benefactor. He picked up the first blood, invading onto Blank and a double kill. And when he goes for his shopping trip, you got to bet that Essence Reaver is coming early.
Yeah, 3-0 here before 10 minutes. Stays alive. This was a bit of a messy one. So walk us through it, Papa.
So 4v5, that's why they go for engage. And they engage from 2 fronts at the same time. Goodbye, Jax. He'd been tanking up the Drake. He was going to be dead early. As it goes on, though, Faker goes super aggressive, but do they have the damage to support an engage like this? Your first instinct is yes, because it's Ezreal, but early in the game, Ezreal doesn't have the same impact. So from there, it ends up being a crapshoot on who gets the Drake of all people. It's an auto attack coming through from the Xayah. But being so much profit onto Kramer, whereas the kill profile for Wolf and Faker is not as ideal, is a big win for Afrika Freaks.
Wolf looking to get some kind of engage here. Low on mana, though, is Bang.
He misses his ult as well.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been able to chase because of the low mana, but not a good look there. And the Blade Caller does hit Wolf, so 2v2 laning phase. Should we be surprised that Bang and Wolf, who, of course, have had a lot of synergy for a long time, were one of our best lanes in 2015, haven't played together with a great degree in 2018. If you look at Wolf's solo queue, is still largely playing jungle to provide an option there. And then you think back to Worlds, Bang & Wolf's laning phase was one of the Achilles heels of Afrika Freaks. It's why Faker had to play so much Galio, because his top lane was overextending and his bot lane was losing. So when you come here, picking up so much onto Kramer and Tucson early, dangerous times for SKT as Tucson gets pretty frisky with a Demolish proc.
These supports, man, they always want that proc. Makes you feel so, you know, like you have a use in the lane, right? You're doing something.
It reminds me of Jax's third auto in terms of having a very satisfying clunk sound as well. So you really want to get it, but can definitely be baited in. We've seen multiple supports die. Ignar most notably on the Shen at level 2. And they're going to walk up here, and because they've done chip damage, goodbye bot lane turret. Xayah and Rakan online early. That's going to be a big shopping trip for Kramer.
Disgusting amount of gold. Just take a look at the items as he goes back home. That's really going to be the fun thing to watch. Essence Reaver picked up.
It's all for now, but a very big purchase from a BF sword, better part of 2,000 gold. Means that he is super powered here and ready to go with his next item. Going to be the rush on the Iceborne Gauntlet, the armor going to be very helpful for Bang, but just going to be about poking and showing respect for Kramer and Tucson, who you notice, for now at least, are going to have going back to the bot lane to try to pick up farm. We'll see what they want to do. Ezreal doesn't have the ability to freeze the wave, usually, because he wants to use his Mystic Shot when it comes to last hitting to get his tier stacks going. So we'll see what SKT going to have to do around the bot lane. As for now, they're actually 2-man invading.
He's going to get locked up here, but no opportunity to go on it. It was 2v3 as they go in. It was kind of funny to see Wolf invading with his jungle.
Keen being up in CS in this matchup is probably more about the player and the sort of form he's in rather than necessarily the matchup. So in complete absence of anybody going top lane. He's up 17 CS over Antara. And they're looking to end the laning phase now as Xayah and Rakan are going to rotate top.
Crumble Bubble does miss, as does the paddle star. They're thinking Faker gets aggressive here, but...
Cleanse is up.
Yeah. Cleanse. Flash not, though. So even with just the cleanse, he would have to have a nice shuffle to get out of there.
So Wolf's the first person to teleport in.
Oh, the demolish.
Got it.
Yeah.
He has almost no health from items, no sight stone this early in the game. So amusingly, the demolish does about 2 auto attacks worth.
Yeah.
Spirit is shadowing, though. We see Ambition do this a lot. They're thinking about a turret dive onto Wolf, but they back away for now. No minion wave.
Yeah. True Shot Barrage, the true MVP, helping him out there. Blank just trying to farm up as much as possible. Hasn't shown his face very often in the lanes so far in this game. And even so, he's behind on the farm here compared to Spirit on the Sejuani.
But now Afrika will just push into Bang, who Bang Wolf can freeze up the wave, and they're not going to allow any turret damage to go down. See pings onto Rift Herald, and also to try and catch Xayah and Rakan.
Yeah, well, Rakan here, the Counter-Strike misses. He's trying to get out, but the Emperor's Divide, he just flashes the wall and gets away. Thunderstorm coming in. He could output a lot of damage, but he's getting very low, so is a bit careful. But again, they disengage and they get out alive. Some
golf claps from the audience because they do disengage without losing a single member from a 4-man gank from SKT. The gank timing from SKT was on point. They were very close to securing one with quickness, flash, and the grand entrance. Always very difficult to shut down the Rakan's escape. Not able to turn this into a turret or a Rift Herald. Remember, they were so frustrated in game 1 trying to take a Rift Herald. We're going to see the replay here. Ult used onto Kramer, so he's out of the fight at the start, but quickness and flash gets him out. Kramer's able to disengage with the ultimate, and from there, Featherstorm gets them both out. So happy times for Afrika Freaks. No Malzahar for the Zoe to deal with, so for once no QSS means that item timings are on point. Probably going to see Eliandri's Torment second here from Kurur.
Ooh, close.
Messed up his combo a little bit.
Yeah. Has redemption, though, so don't worry about his health. Okay, we have the Jax finally coming on in. They want to force a fight here.
Antara trying to bait something. That was a big burst onto Faker off screen.
Yeah, wasn't even using that for healing. Just trying to get that burst damage. Kind of missed the skirmish there.
Antara's trying to put themselves in positions to bait in a hook shot from Camille, but Keen is not taking the bait, and Jax had already backed away. CS lead only growing for Keen is a big concern for SKT. They picked this lane to go even or at worst, so go to win, honestly, but at worst go even, and haven't really been able to do that, even if it's not a huge lead. And Kleptomancy will help out in terms of gold. They've abandoned top lane, so right now it's going to be a trade for the Mountain Drake. Spirit is also lying in wait.
Yeah, all 5 members of the SKT down here towards the Drake, as even Antara is down on the bottom side. Putting a lot of worth onto that Mountain Drake. They do pick it up now. See where they go from here. Antara just still farming up.
Impressed with Keen's ability to take on a different role to last year when he was basically always given counterpick to smash lane. He hasn't been, falling to the obvious pitfalls of now increased expectation. He's jumped away from F8 winners onto the Afrika Freaks. He's replacing Marin. Everyone talks about his mechanical skill, but instantly being able to, after 10, 15 games of pro play, read a game well enough to stay alive in ganks and stay competitive is not something we shouldn't be rewarding of to Keen, who quietly is accumulating a very good reputation as a top laner in Korea. So with Kleptomancy, about a 400 gold lead in the top lane, as Kleptomancy does answer all of the CS lead that Keen has put together.
So we're kind of just chilling here for now. We did have some wonky fights earlier on, but so far both teams playing a very safe from there on out, just trying to lay down the vision. We're here at 19 minutes, so it doesn't look like any Rift Herald in this game.
Nope.
But still,
have to be started now.
Yeah. Lots of vision being taken around the future Baron area. Okay, they're going to go for it here right before it does despawn.
Tucson standing on a ward. Quickness and grand entrance up for the turn. SKT don't have control in the area, though Ezreal cancels back. They spot it out. 5,000 health on the Rift Herald.
So many feathers in position. Gonna pull it back. That's a smite away, and there it goes. Gonna give that one to Kramer, even.
They're gonna use it to crack mid lane. That's the plan with it. But now Faker and Wolf trying to push the minion wave. Bot lane, Untara being shadowed by Blank. But it's never proactive. It feels like Blank is always there for the counter gank. And Afrika's just leaving Keen on an island. And so far, it's a pretty nice island. Hawaii or something going on here because he's just sipping some farm, having a happy time. He'll lose the turret, but seems like his team has bigger fish to fry. There's never been the chance for Untara and Blank to outplay Keen and Spirit. And they've got Jax and Fiora. They're built for the outplay, but the outplay is never presented to them.
Yeah, I mean, they have so much vision in the red side jungle of Afrika, but they don't really have Blank going too aggressive in there. Hasn't hit level 11 yet for that extra ult, the level 2. Whereas Spirit is at level 12. 2-level difference already being shown in the jungle.
No damage to champions, as you can see. 263, cue the memes, but that's because Blank was invaded and so far hasn't been able to find a lane to gank. Wants to counter gank bot lane. That is how the Jax wants to play this. When the initial spells are down, Fiora riposts, and then suddenly Jax. Kind of what they're looking for. That's never been open to him. Mid lane has just been a long lane farming, and the bot lane's been winning. So Blank is just doing a lot of walking up with the counter strike and walking away. So looking a bit like a goof, but not able to really pull anything off.
Yeah, now it's all about pushing mid lane. Hasn't used the Rift Herald just yet. Thinking about it though, obviously, as the bottom lane duo is sitting here in mid.
Gold standard would be a pick onto someone and then just Rift Herald in mid lane to end Azir's farm forever laning phase.
Yeah. Spirit lying in wait in the corner. You can see he's looking for the play now. Arcane Shift is down, but no opportunity is lent to them here.
They see Azir top side, so I guess it's time for the Rift Herald.
True Shot Barrage coming out, trying to do his best to stop this, but they're actually going to take down the turret just on the threat of 5 members being there and SKT not being grouped up. That means we will have another big charge on the mid lane, tier 2.
Yeah, able to usher it forward. All they wanted was a charge. Not going to be greedy for anything more, but a free 2,000 damage or so to the second turret. Tucson on a ward.
Oh, he gets out. Very unfortunate there for SKT. They're going to get the knock up here on a Kramer, but nobody close enough, and a TP coming in means that SKT disengage.
Got to say that I'm sure SKT feel hard done by. They thought they got the pick onto Tucson on another day. Maybe it was early enough, but when you're in a losing streak, those recalls go through. The line skill shots miss. And SK Telkom T1, they will control vision around the Drake. They already have one mountain, so a second mountain would make Ezreal and Azir make very short work of the Baron. So it's pretty high value to the side of SKT.
We haven't really got to see Bang pop off on his Ezreal just yet. It's one of the big things I was looking for in this game, but so far he just has 2 assists from the Dragon play. We'll get there eventually, I'm sure. Got to wait until later on in the game. This definitely feels like a more passive game that we're getting ourselves into.
Yeah, no one's really popped off this game. Surprising pickup. I want you guys to note the first item pickup. It's not Worlds 2017. It's still an Ardent Sensor rush from Tucson. Ardent Sensor's value on Rakan was always a pretty heavy debate topic among analysts at Worlds, just because you think of the prototypical Ardent Sensor user, they stand behind the AD carry and heal them or use shields off cooldown, 100% uptime. You only usually get one shield as a Rakan, and then he's diving in, so you don't often get full uptime on Ardent Sensor. This is very much, well, my AD carry has 3 kills, let's give him some attack speed and do the damage now. Infinity Edge soon to be completed. Will make Kramer just super powered. So maybe you will be able to just dash in, dash out, and 6 seconds of Ardent Sensor is enough. That's the theory here. That looked really, really funny. It looked like we had visual lag.
Ezreal doesn't move, and just a giant True Shot Barrage comes out of his body.
Has science gone too far?
Seems like it. We're still here in 8.1. Feels like that's already too far.
Well, that science is going to be eroded, and so will the Mountain Drake advantage from SKT. Bang takes poke. They have to give up the map. Map control surrendered by SK Telecom T1. Keen can return to lane, so a lot of normalcy here. For now, though, item advantage for Untara. He is up his Ravenous Hydra completion. That was his first item, but has already put together a Trinity Force. Probably just about a back timing for Keen.
Yeah. Also took a couple of Doran's Blades and does not have Klepto. Love to get a look at the golds here, but we have Spirit getting engaged upon. Thinking about a counter engage, but then Ornn comes from the side. Nice little dodge with the portal jump. Kuro making it look easy. Honestly, it is pretty easy.
Oh, I mean, from that range especially, that's so much time there to dodge. There was no other pressure. Ornn is always best when there's another threat. Then you can just thread through and catch someone. Speaking of catching someone.
Okay, see you later, Blank. We've seen that happen before. Just going to face check the brush without any vision, no blue trinkets, no anything. And you are going to get caught up. There's a lot of pick on the side of Afrika. Now we got the feathers coming in. Will they try to go for a steal here without the smite? It's going to be pretty hard. It's going to be up to Faker, but nearly impossible as the smite comes in from Spirit and Afrika get the essentially free Baron.
And that's why you have to have the fair criticism. Blank walking up there when they didn't have control of the river is a mistake. There was a control ward. I'm not 100% sure that was placed earlier, but clearly not massive advanced vision, but a massive information that, hey, we know where the enemy team is playing. Too easy for the Rakan to tie up the Jax. Blank has died with his flash up multiple times now on the Jax. This time it gives away Baron. Well, watch the replay and consider here what Blank knows. There is no control vision down. He has no advanced vision, but that just means don't walk up. It's that simple. He didn't even walk up with his Counter-Strike up, so clearly he wasn't expecting anything.
He had the lens going, the scanning lens, but you're Jax, right? And
the enemy is Rakan.
You're not gonna get, you're not gonna get close enough and get out. You have this experience when you first start playing Jax where you're like, oh, I can jump to wards, I can jump to enemies, allies, I have Counter-Strike, I'm invincible. That's not the case in a lot of different ways, especially if you get stunned up before you can dodge it, because again, he's not all that tanky.
And does this need to be the build? Because, again, in the LCK, we have had tank Jax work as recently as this season, and it was purely the pick before. He already has Fiora, Azir, Ezreal. Is it the right choice to go for Trinity Force 0, 3, and 1? Again, I'd probably say no. I think it's time to just get a Righteous Glory and walk up and Counter-Strike people on a low cooldown, rather than trying to be a split pusher or be a threat. But in this case, Blank disagrees, and unless this game stalls out, it's going to be used against him.
They want to get onto Tushin here, even the Ornn ultimate from downtown, but not going to happen. Ooh, that trouble bubble, though. Very close to picking off Faker.
Minute 40 on the Baron. Camille still far away from the inner turret, so for now, just poking around. Camille actually put together a Sterix Gauge before she finished the Tiamat. Definitely ready to go if there's a gank on her by 2 or 3 members with Flash, Hextech Ultimatum, and the Sterix Gauge.
Well, tons of vision being denied now from Afrika. They haven't necessarily gotten a bunch of these turrets just yet, but they're taking over the vision. They'll finally get one turret here in the mid lane.
There are no words to express how strong Kramer is at this point in the game. No play the Ruin King yet for Bang, and it's 3 item and Ardent Sensor, largely about attack speed and on-hit damage. Xayah. Xayah is monstrously strong as we currently check into the game.
Not to mention the Targons that he finished.
Yeah, definitely. Wouldn't want to mention that.
Definitely do not mention that.
It'll be gone soon, don't worry.
Yeah, just even adding extra into what Kramer has got.
I understand your mistake.
Yeah. They both end in ER, so, you know. It's close.
Not a lot of gain for Afrika. They're not able to break the base with their first Baron, but the Baron's kind of a bonus. They didn't expect a Jax to face check and then to pick up the buff, and there's only one inner turret left on the map. Afrika's setups have been really good. Their vision game, I think, is even better than it was last year. It was good last year. A lot of Marin flank teleports into victories in spring season, and then the whole team kind of faltered a bit in summer when Marin's mechanics started to give way. A lot of insurance here. Look, compared to Jax, consider how Afrika take no risk. Control ward, in every brush they walk by. They'll crash down the 3rd inner turret. I love the fact that they can be aggressive but also clean in their aggression, whereas SKT have really struggled to play multiple styles at the same time.
Yeah, one of Twitch chat's favorite words, clean. Definitely a good one to describe Afrika at this point. And they will continue with it.
Unstoppable means that the bubble doesn't do much.
Yeah. We'll see if Kuro can get some of those juicy one-shots with the Zoe later on. Not quite there yet.
Afrika want to get control of the red side jungle because then they can push 2 lanes, mid and top lane, and fall back to Baron. But that doesn't need to be right now. That's when the Baron, say 2 minutes away, that you start to make the plays where red side control is the most important. But now kind of balancing their attention and considering taking a free Ocean Drake in 20 seconds time.
I was taking a look at the gold difference earlier on between Camille and Fiora. And in fact, the Klepto is not helping Fiora keep up too much. She is behind about 1,200, I think, at this point. Definitely the creeps helping.
5 turrets as well.
Yeah, 5 turrets definitely help as well. Also the minion lead that Keen has built for himself.
Yep, he's been ahead the entire laning phase with no jungle attention, which, you know, it's not normally how Camille versus the Fiora goes. The theory is that Fiora having the riposte means that she should win aggressive trades in lane, and it's only when the ganks come that Camille has a lot of playmaking with her hook shot and ultimatum. No pressure at all onto Keen. Ocean Drake, as free as you like, second one of the game for Afrika, does force the spawn of the Elder pretty early in the piece, so multiple objectives to try to get SKT, force them out of the base, stop them turtling.
Double Ocean will definitely help against a bit of the poke that the Ezreal Azir does have. Can essentially cancel that out, especially when you're this far ahead.
And Kramer has gone for the Winmore item. Guardian Angel doesn't need extra damage because he has the Ardent Sensor and already is monstrously ahead. You look at armor on the side of SKT, Untara, Ninja Tabis, blank none. Iceborne Gauntlet, the biggest armor item on the entire team, is on the 80 carry, which lets you know that Kramer is going to obliterate SKT. He needs to be accounted for.
You were talking about the Jax build, especially when you're going up against a fed Xayah or 80 carry. Definitely some armor would be nice. But now let's talk about Untara, who is going to try to get out of here. But unfortunately, you got a Camille on your ass, and you will go down 4v1. There's no Baron to take, no objective for SKT. They were in their base as Untara pushing up the lane gets caught.
Yeah, unnecessary for him to be that far up. Understandable given that he's been so non-interactive this game, but didn't read the map well, had some control wards, but they were very shallow. You know, the one control ward towards the base and nowhere near there. He doesn't have the right to be that far out of the base, and that's not a criticism. That's just what vision games mean at the highest level. Afrika going to be able to get the kill 30 seconds before Baron spawns. If the Baron's up, certainly there is the ability, if the rest of your team is coordinated, for the Azir to walk up and delete the Baron. But at that timing, inappropriate from Untara. His teleport down awkwardly as well because he used it to try to escape when there was 0% chance.
0%. Perhaps he didn't know it was 4. Maybe he thought it was 2 and then saw the Camille. Trouble Bubble lands onto Azir, and they're trying to make a play onto Keen, who just flashes away. Should be able to get away from this one, but the Iceborne Gauntlet coming in, and Keen, with his hook shot down, finally gets it back up, still on the run. Flash Mystic shot misses, and that means that we don't have Bang with the flash, as it's all desperation right now for SKT.
I was definitely going to say it did strike of desperation, trying to get the first slow and chase him down and stay 20% CDR at the minimum. Hook shot maxed Camille, level 18 Camille as well. Kramer walks up, and Untara should walk away.
He's walking forward. Thankfully, Kramer was attacking the turret, not him. Faker looking to be the one-man army. Perhaps if he can get a 4-man Emperor's Divide, we might have this game continue on. But I'm sure you guys can tell in my voice, I'm not too positive that will happen. Afrikas have been extremely clean, as we mentioned before. Look at how split up they are right now. Tushin on the bottom, Spirit in the middle, Kramer hitting the inhibitor.
No threat onto Kramer. Everything up. Flash, heal, and try another ult.
They do get a 3-man knock-up. Rather, Kramer knocks himself up somehow with the Featherstorm.
No backup, doesn't matter. Short cooldown, it'll be up again, but Kramer's going to walk up on this minion wave.
And down it does go. The first inhibitor with the Baron buff going over to Afrika. We're sitting here at 11,000 gold ahead. And we've seen Afrika beat SKT many times before in the past, but this one definitely feels different from last year.
I mean, both teams kind of have a protect the MVP or protect the VIP going. Faker always the VIP in at 3.5 items. Problem is that Kramer is 5-0-0. The only kills on his team is the Kramer who is at 6 items, super early into the game. He's got an Ardent Sensor. Maybe he should buy some other. He's got a Locket as well. He's ready to go. And he is also casually 4,000 gold ahead of Kleptomancy Ezreal, which never happens. You never see someone 4,000 gold ahead of Kleptomancy, but he's done it, the madman.
Yeah, unless this happens. Funnily enough, doesn't have the highest damage in the game. Hasn't really had an opportunity to have a big team fight.
I was going to say, how much damage can you do when everyone runs away the moment you show up in the lane?
Yeah.
Usually AD carries don't command that much respect this early in the game.
Yeah. If this were solo queue, Kramer would have like triple the damage of everyone else.
Triple the kills he currently has too.
Probably.
On Tara, nice riposte.
Yeah, nicely done there. Trying to keep him and his team in this one. It's like the Starks Gauge did pop there. Either way, he's going back.
So as Keen is pushing up, you can see that the turret has 0 HP, it will die. Just the minions don't even have to walk up if you're Keen. So base broken in 2 spots. Someone will have to answer the super minions in the next minute or so. Maybe even less, next 20 seconds or so.
Looking for an engage now, but it's actually going to get turned on them as Tushin denies it. Says, get out of here, I am the support master. Takes a lot of damage on the back foot. They're looking for another engage here. Trying to get out the Spirit, but Blake! What the hell happened to his health? Looks like finally Kramer got a couple of auto attacks onto someone, and you guys see what happens in that case.
Teleporting back also with the unsealed spellbook. Tushin's back. They're going to lose 3 inhibitors here.
Yeah. Well, they're certainly going to get this bottom one. A small walk over pretty aggressively through the base, saying, we're not scared of you guys.
I mean, I half expected to blank to pause the game and query the damage dealt by Kramer.
It's like, this is just not fair. It doesn't make any sense.
I built a Trinity Force.
We're SKT.
And I have a Jorum's Fist, so why am I taking so much physical damage?
A Jorum's Fist, man.
Starks Gauge doesn't give any armor in case you're watching at home.
Yeah.
They desperately would love some armor, or an Elder Dragon, but they can't have that. That sinking feeling that I'm sure SKT fans are feeling. Again, in the LCK era, they have never lost 5 best-of series in a row, but they would move down to 1 and 5. They still have a superior game score to MVP. You know what the kind of weirdest thing is? Because MVP beat them, if the game score was equal, they'd be bottom. So right now, we're running out of good news stories for SK Telecom T1. Feels like all our old adages about what they are as a team, how they come back, all the soundbite clips of how good Koma is as a coach and all these things, for right now, as 8.1 stands, don't apply. This will be the second time that a patch cycle has gone through where they've gone, last time it was no wins, but that was only 4 matches. This time it's a longer patch cycle, and it's 5 losses on patch 8.1. Only a single win over Rox, and that wasn't clean. That was a 2-1 at the start of the season before Rox got their things together. They'll be hoping that 8.2 brings a lot of change, but I've watched some NA and EU, it doesn't.
Blank, he's trying to kill a ward here, and he's got Kramer on his butt. Gets his counter-strike up, but just barely survives. And that was all just to clear the ward.
Every time Kramer auto-attacks something, I clench. That's how much damage he's doing.
Everybody watching at home, everybody in the studio is as well. Unless you're a Afrika fan, in which case you're pretty happy. Well, Kramer moving up. No one wants to get near him at this point. Everybody's just scared. They're just going to let it go down. Finally, Orin decides to ult on in. They get a little bit of chip damage on the Spirit, but it just doesn't matter. They're too far ahead. Kramer's going to get another kill. Up to 6 now. He's going to get one more as Zuntara gets low. Emperor's Divide is pretty. It just doesn't matter. That's a 2-0 victory now for the Afrika Freaks over SKT, making it look easy, Papa.
And Kramer ends with 100% kills, not kill participation. He got all the damn kills, 6 and 0 and 0. The reverse secret agent. He was a very obvious agent.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't matter. He might as well have been John McClane, gunning everyone down. Afrika Freaks beat SKT 2-0 to condemn SK Telecom T1 to their longest ever losing streak. And Valdez, consider that they've tried everything. Short of Blossom playing, they've had Wolf in the jungle, they tried their experienced lineup.